All right, welcome back to another episode of Ask Jess. I am Jess Marcy. I am a clutter coach, and every Tuesday at approximately 1:15 Eastern Standard Time, I come here live to answer questions that had been submitted throughout the week in our Facebook groups or directly to the Ask Jess um, support email, which is support@prioritizeyoursanity.com. We have a few questions this week, and I'm going to just dive right in. Number one, I am ruminating on thinking about money spent. I wish I had all that money that I impulsively spent on items, which are now just clutter. Am I crying over spilt milk? Yes. Okay, so yes and no. The money is spent, and you can choose to sit and ruminate on it, or feel bad about it, or feel ashamed, or feel guilty, or just have negative self talk around the money spent. Or you can take this as a lesson and make a change moving forward. We spend money on stuff impulsively because of a lot of factors that, it's not that they're out of our control, but advertisers have never been more savvy and more understanding of what it takes to trigger a purchase than they are today. Advertising is everywhere. It's insidious. It is everywhere that we go. We are being advertised to. If you open up your credit card app on your phone, there's advertisements there. Shop at our stores. If you open up any social media platform, hundreds of advertisements in that you see them in like seconds. I'm looking out the window at my office here. I see advertisements for every store. There's a community college across the street advertising college courses. There's a bus stop that I can see from here with advertisements on it. Everywhere I look, there are advertisements everywhere. It is everywhere. Advertisements are really powerful. They make us feel like we have problems we don't have, and they offer us a solution in like a split second. I think one of my favorite examples is neck cream. There's an advertisement for neck cream. Like, if you've never thought that you had issues with the way your neck looks, all of a sudden you see neck cream and you start to question, do I need neck cream? Yeah, I probably do. I better buy this one right now. It's just the situation that we have with advertising today. We see over 10,000 advertisements every single day. It's crazy. When we purchase something because we're filling some sort of void in our life, an emotional void, a social void, there's a reason for that purchase. That's not about the purchase. And as we grow and go along on our journey and learn more and have better understanding around why we're buying stuff and who we are as a person and what feels right for us, and as we learn more about advertising, we can make better decisions. We can take this information and we can use it as a lesson. How can we make better decisions moving forward? We tend to think of spending money on education as a necessary expense, right? Like going to college, a necessary expense. Think about this as education. This is real life education. And if you learn the lesson from it, it was a very worthwhile expenditure. So yes, you've spent the money. It's done. It's over. You're not saving money by keeping stuff. You're just losing space and losing time. And at some point, you recognize that your sanity is worth more than any of that. Let it go and make different choices moving forward. So the next question that we have is a little bit long, and I'm going to try and just, I never had a problem with clutter until I lost my husband tragically. And now I've lost myself and my ability to think clearly when I try to reorganize. I have no problem letting go of my things and have done a lot of decluttering already. I just can't seem to finish reorganizing and making a home my own. I get overwhelmed and frustrated and I give up. This is a really interesting question. When you experience something traumatic, your response to it manifests. It can look like so many different things, and it can change over time. So the response that you may be having right now is that it's very difficult to turn your house into a home for you when you previously shared it with somebody who you lost traumatically. Number one, that's okay. That's really a complicated situation, and I always recommend that you find a grief counselor that you like and that helps you. So number one, get support outside of um, outside of your friends. Get professional support. Work with somebody who understands grief after a traumatic loss and can help you process that in a way that feels safe and productive. And if you find a counselor or a therapist and you don't like them, they don't resonate, you don't resonate with them, move on. Don't let that become another piece of your clutter. If you're working with any medical professionals that you don't feel connected to, you don't feel like they are helping you move forward, find a different one. You have no obligation to stay with somebody who is not actually helping you. So find some support, find some real support that's going to help you move forward. And in the meantime, give yourself grace because you've been through so much. If you can't figure out reorganizing and making your house your home, maybe that goal is too big in this moment. Maybe you can create a small space that is yours, that feels like a sanctuary, and then move on from there. So I'm sending you a lot of love. I am so sorry for your loss. And I hope that you have a grief counselor or can find a grief counselor that can truly help you. And just start with little baby steps. Um, there's no rush here. There's no rush. Hello, Jess. How can I deal with a hoarding spouse? He says our definition of trash is different. Probably true. It's very difficult to deal with a hoarding spouse. So if you have a spouse who truly is a hoarder, it has a diagnosed disorder, then you should be getting some support from medical professionals. If you have a spouse that hangs on to things more than you would hang on to things, but isn't actually diagnosed with hoarding disorder, my first question is your environment safe? Do you feel like the amount of stuff in your house is a safety issue? If you feel like it is a safety issue, I would encourage you to take more extreme steps towards tackling this problem. And by extreme steps, I do not mean throwing out their stuff. I mean having a conversation in a meaningful way about the situation being dangerous. That might involve, forcing your spouse to go talk to somebody with you. It may involve bringing in other professionals. If you feel like your house is safe, but you're frustrated by their stuff, then the thing to do is actually to work on what you can. Work on areas that you have executive control over. Work on things that are your things that you can toss out and get your spaces and your things under control first. We can only deal with our own stuff, right? We can't deal with other people's stuff unless they've passed on. So we can only deal with our own stuff and then learn how to communicate differently with our spouse, because obviously the communication that we've had, that we get into these communication ruts, right? And they don't work anymore. They're predictable. We know what we're going to say. We know the argument we're going to have. We know the outcome. Learning different communication strategies can really, really help. Now, again, if your house feels unsafe, that is a different scenario. That is when it is time to step it up a little bit, really communicate in a way that, like, I feel unsafe living here and things need to change, period. And how do we move forward from that point? So that would be really my question is it unsafe or is it not unsafe in your opinion? If it is, definitely take some more drastic steps. If it is not, what spaces can you work on and can you control? Remember, if somebody likes to keep stuff and you throw their stuff out, you are re-traumatizing them and they will hold on to things more tightly. So that is not the way to move forward. What can you do for you? That's always the question. How long do we keep bills and other paperwork? So depends on your comfort level to an extent. If you're not sure how long to keep a bill, I recommend you ask your accountant what makes sense. Like what do they recommend? I am not an accountant. I don't give accounting advice. But I can tell you personally, I keep almost no paperwork, period. I have a small letterbox like that big with all of our papers for everything. And that's a comfort level thing. So understand your own comfort level, figure out how long you feel comfortable hanging on to things. Maybe it's 1 year for certain bills. Maybe it's a month. Maybe when you get your new bill, you let go of the old one. Or maybe you just get stuff digitally and you don't need to hang on to your paper bills at all. I think the less paperwork you have, the easier your life is. I have not ever missed paperwork I didn't have. But that's my comfort level. What's your comfort level? Come up with a list of how long you're going to keep things for, and use that as your master list to decide what you're going to let go of as you're sorting your paperwork. Let's see. Why is it so hard to let clothing go that I will probably never wear again for one reason or another? Reasons range from small, never going to be in style anytime soon, never really liked it to begin with. I've worked from home since 2020. I saw all these posts of people purging their closets, homes, and garages, and yet I had no time to do any of that. I can't really say they weren't working since I really don't know, but dang, I wish I was them. Or at least I had that willpower. If you want to declutter something, if decluttering your house is a priority and you don't find a way to prioritize spending time doing it, it's not actually a priority. It's just a dream. It's not a goal. It's a dream. If you want to clean out your space and you're choosing to do other things with your time, I would say take a close look at your time and find the time. We're not talking about hours every day. If you spend 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes working on your clutter, you're going to see a dramatic difference over the course of a few months. But it's not a one-time thing. If we continue to bring stuff into our homes, which when are we ever going to not be bringing stuff into our homes? We are alive. We purchase stuff to support being alive. We're always bringing stuff into our homes. As long as you're bringing something into your home, you're going to have to be decluttering also if you want to maintain that equilibrium of space. If you're bringing in more than you're letting go of, you're going to have clutter. It's like that disgusting toilet analogy that I share in boot camp sometimes. If you have a clogged toilet, you have to unclog the toilet before it's functional again. If you have a clogged house, you need to unclog your house before it's functional again. If you add material to the toilet before unclogging it, it's not good. If you add material to your house before unclogging it, you're just constantly standing in your own way. So if you're not sure how people have time to declutter, it's because it's a priority and they're making time to do it. Like anything else in life, if something is a priority and you don't have time for it, it's not a priority. Priority means that you're prioritizing time, taking care of something. One thing that I learned on my own personal journey this year was that I really needed to check my own stories. I don't have time for something was a huge story that I had. When I was forced to prioritize my time, I found a lot of time by letting go of stuff that was not important, by putting down my phone. Just that's what I had to do. I found time because I was spending time doing stuff that was not getting me towards my goals. I was giving my time away to other things, other people, other obligations. And when you get real honest with yourself, you find the time. In terms of the clothing, why is it so hard to let go of clothing that I'm probably never going to wear again? Clothing probably feels sentimental to you. If you can't let go of clothing that you're never going to wear again, it never fit you, it's not going to be in style, maybe you're attached to clothing and that's not the right spot to start. I would, encourage you to begin letting go of things that you find to be easy. What is easy for you to let go of? You have to strengthen your decluttering muscle. It's really a decision-making muscle. You have to get better at making decisions before you can deal with more difficult decisions. So start with easier ones. Don't start with clothing. Our last question was, I need some help with how to let go of sentimental items. That's the answer for that as well. Start with the easy things. Not everything is sentimental. Find what is not sentimental. Let go of that first. Make the decisions. Build your confidence in your decision-making skills. And then bring on the hard stuff. Then tackle the sentimental items. Then tackle the things that are always maybes, I'm not sure, that you really go back and forth on. Challenge yourself to find 10 things to let go of today. 10 things. If something's a maybe or you start to waver, go move along. Find the things that are easy. They exist. You just have to kind of push yourself to find them. All right. I wanted to say happy holidays to everyone. This is actually the last Ask Jess for this year. We'll be back again live in 2024. I look forward to working with everyone in the new year. I get so excited with New Year's, resolutions, all of that. It's nice to just reflect and think about what you want to leave behind this year and what you want to take forward. And I am definitely taking forward all of the incredible energy that we have in our communities, in our programs, and just all the love that I have for everyone working with you. Have a wonderful holiday if you celebrate, and I will look forward to our next Ask Jess in 2 weeks. Happy holidays.